Well, let's bring on Emmanuel Enime here, who's the character coach. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. I am doing pretty good, Toby.
Yeah, great.
And how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great as well. Now, in terms of being a character coach, what does that actually mean?
So let me tell you what the pinnacle of personal development is. And the pinnacle of this will help you understand what a character coach is. So the pinnacle of personal development, of self-development is that I am going to do my God-given mission with joy in my heart until the last drop of blood exits my body. And I understand that while I'm doing my God-given mission, everybody around me might turn against me. My family might turn against me. My friends might turn against me. My wife, my husband might turn against me. My kids might turn against me. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep going and doing my God-given mission.
Yeah.
And so that is the pinnacle of personal development, of character development, the height of the best character a human being can have. And so a character coach, so me being a character coach is to help people get to that point. And it's totally a point that people can get to. And matter of fact, they're from the UK. Amy Carmichael and Gladys Aylward.
Ooh.
If anybody wants to check these two people out, you'll hear some stories that will help you understand, hey, it's possible for me to get to that point where I'm going to keep going in my mission. Especially Gladys Aylward's story is just her life is just unbelievable. The same with Amy Carmichael. It's like, wow. It's like these people kept pushing and they kept going.
Yeah.
They kept working. And so a character coach is helping people get to that point. And so helping people first understand the fundamentals to play this game called life, and then to put them into practice through actual God-authorized training exercises.
Yeah. And when you have lots of success stories, does that maybe motivate you even more to do what you do?
Oh, those aren't two people that I've worked with. Amy Carmichael she was around in the, I think, 1800s to the early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
And Gladys Aylward was late 1800s to maybe mid 1900s. So yeah, those aren't people that I've worked with. Those are people who God took under his wing, as he normally does. And he perfected them, and he helped them improve their character to get to that point. So right now, I have just officially begun to walk in my purpose. And so that purpose, being my God-given purpose, is to help you look more attractive, not the person on the outside, but the person on the inside, the real you, your character. And so I'm looking to help people with developing, first understanding courage, understanding that courage needs to be comprehensively developed, understanding forgiveness, patience, joy, peace, hope, faithfulness, trustworthiness. So it's a long list of things. But the good thing is, once you start rolling, and once you understand one, and it kind of has this snowball effect.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, I am like, it's like I can feel the changes. Like as you go through character training exercises, like you can feel the changes. And one of them being, I'm confident this will be the first one that I'll offer to people, is singing in public.
Yeah.
and so and so and so singing in public, that takes a couple of things I'll just talk about too: courage and not focusing your energy on what other people around you think about what you're doing. Yeah. And so the reason why, well, some people, they focus on what other people around them are thinking. They focus on it way too much. And this causes them to lose focus on their mission. And so they're diverted away from completing their task effectively.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, they're not hitting that pinnacle.
Yeah. And singing in public must be quite hard, because speaking in public is hard enough, let alone having to sing, which is nervous even if it's only in front of a few people.
Yeah. And so I would say that, I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah.
And some people, they might feel more comfortable to sing in public as opposed to speak in public. And then some people might feel more comfortable to speak in public than to sing in public. And so for me, it's a matter of like, well, I want you to get developed in both. And you totally can. And you can overcome those fears, and you can have the courage. And when you overcome those fears, those thoughts of fear are also distractors, because they overwhelm a person's mind.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, then a person is diverted from completing their mission, and they're diverted away from having joy.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some of the ways that you help build people's characters and have more confidence?
So right now, I am focused on first teaching some fundamentals, and one of them being forgiveness, because that's absolutely important. That's a big one. That is a huge one that will divert someone from completing their mission, from completing their purpose. Because when a person has unforgiveness against someone else, their mind is focused on that person they have unforgiveness against. And so their mind is now, maybe the best word to use is, it's been hijacked. And so it's hijacked and focused on something else, someone else, or focused on getting vengeance. And so all of that takes a person away from focusing on their purpose. And so it's important to understand unforgiveness and how it infects a person and takes over their mind. And this is good for people who have been bullied as well, because it's very applicable to them.
Yeah.
And so and so they could put these things into practice, and then notice or forgive anyone who's bullying them or mistreating them. They put these things into practice, they'll notice that they'll have a peace of mind, a quiet mind, and to the point where it's like, oh, like I'm not even concerned about what that person said about my shoes. I'm not concerned about what that person said about my ears. It's like, hey, I forgive them. Maybe they're having some issues at home or something like that. Or maybe they're just very angry in life. And so it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to forgive them. I'm not going to let their anger infect me. I'm not going to let the things that are bothering them infect me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of it, to sum it up.
Yeah. And who is character improvement best suited for? Is there a particular ideal person, or does everyone benefit really?
If the person can breathe, character development is for them.
Yeah.
And it's best to get started early. And so this is part of the work of a father, and part of the work of parents, is to prepare their child's character for this life, because built into this game called life is tragedy and difficulty.
Yeah.
And so it's important to prepare a person's character to handle that and to keep going and to keep striving and to still have joy and be sin free. And so also the one of the very important reasons why one should prepare their character, their child's character, and help other prepare their characters for the difficult times, because it's during the difficult times that people are more at risk of going into depression. They're more at risk of going into this dark spiral. Yeah. And so this is why it's important. Hey, let me have this mindset. I need to get prepared for the worst. And so once you have that mindset, and when you experience bad times, then you'll have the strength of character to keep going and keep going with joy. And so this way you don't fall to that risk that exists in the hard times to pull a person down.
Yeah. And I guess the thing is, before listening to this interview, most people would never have really thought about character growth as a thing. So in your words, why do you think people should bother to grow their character?
I guess, let me put it this way. There's going to come that time, that point in life where every human being will notice something about themselves that they're like, man, I should improve there. Like maybe they upset a mother, a father, a brother, sister, or a cousin, or a neighbor, or a stranger. And so there'll come that point where every human being has that moment of reflection. Yeah. I could have done better. I could have done better. And so it's there. It's that time in a person's life that I'm speaking to. It's like, look, yeah, you could have done better. And that's completely a possibility. And it's not that I'm like making fun of someone, but it's like, yeah, it's a possibility. You want it. Like, if you like, I could have. It's like, hey, you want it. So, and so I'm letting people know it's a possibility that you can, it's a possibility that you can get that thing that you want to improve as you communicate with others around you. But then also, it's also important for people to understand that our mental states are contagious. Yeah. And so it's like, hey, your anger could affect someone else, and who knows where they might go with it. Or your depression could affect someone else, and who knows what's going to happen to them. Maybe they actually go through with suicide, or they go into this very deep, dark place. They're abusing drugs. They've overdosed several times. And maybe part of that happened because they were influenced by someone else's depression. And so it comes down to also a responsibility thing as well. It's like, hey, we're not just on this planet for ourselves. And so I'm hopeful that, I should say, actually, you asked a good question, because some people feel like, no, I'm good. Like there's nothing I need to do. And sometimes I can't speak to everybody. Like sometimes the message isn't going to connect with everybody, but I'm hoping that at some point in a person's life, or as the message starts to spread, that people come to that point, come to that conclusion. Hey, you know what? That is something that I can do. And I don't like this place where my mind is at. And I believe I can get better. And I see the joy that other people are experiencing in the difficult times, because that's the important thing. It's like joy in the difficult times. That's the real joy. And so it's like, hey, man, I would like some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, where are we able to check out all your services everywhere if we're interested in growing our character?
Oh, I just came to hang out with you, Toby. They came. No, I'm messing with you. No. people can find me on Instagram. And so right now, that's where I'm focused on helping people with the fundamentals they
Yeah.
need to play this game called life. And so my name, I'll spell it,
Yeah.
and it's Emmanuel Enime, all one word, and it's E like Exodus, M like Matthew, M like Matthew, A like Adam, N like Noah, U like unicorn, E like Exodus, L like love, E like Exodus, N like Noah, I like Israel, M like Matthew, E like Exodus. And so
Yeah.
people can find me there. And I'm hopeful that that inner burning, that inner desire that people have, and they know it's like, I can get better. I'm hoping that the inner desire, I have spoke to that. I hope I've spoken to that in you and
Yeah.
everybody that I talk to. I preach to people on the street, in cafes. I'm talking to people, but I hope to speak to that inner desire, and then to spark a fire in each and every person,
Yeah.
and watch it grow, as you start to grow in your character development.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for coming on the show today. It's been great to have you here.
It was a pleasure, sir.